up, my fellow HHN obsessees, and welcome to the HHN Obsession Podcast, where we talk about all things HHN and obsess together over this amazing event. I am your host, JJ. With me, as always, the co-ghost, James.
Ooh, go Ghost James. Ghost of the day. Remember Ryan Higa from Niga Higa YouTube? Happy birthday. And famous Twitcher, QT Cinderella. And this is a big one, of course, for Harry Potter. Jason Isaacs. I like him more from the OA, if people know the OA. But happy birthday, Ghost of the day.
All right, everyone. Well, welcome to the show. We are so excited to get started talking about everything that has happened. There has been quite a bit of actual announcements and a lot of rumors, speculation to talk about, as well as I have gone and seen Epic Universe. And I may or may not throw a little mini trip review at the end of this episode.
You better, because it was an epic fail to miss the opening of it for me. So, like, epic win for you. Epic.
It was indeed epic.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. You got to see that. So,
Yeah.
please divulge. Yeah.
Okay, so let's just go straight into all this because lot to talk about. So this past Sunday, June 1st at 8:49 p.m., Halloween Horror Nights just randomly decided to tweet out a semi announcement. Everybody was very confused as to why that happened, why they just kind of decided, 8:49 p.m. on a Sunday. Sundays are usually not the greatest days to send out an announcement, and it was just kind of late in the evening. But it turns out it wasn't random. It wasn't, it wasn't planned, you could say. They had to kind of rush and put a little semi-announcement out. And the reason for that is it was announced somewhere else. It was leaked somewhere else. And
Damage control.
I have a video of the panel that leaked it.
The panel and the panic to cover it up.
Universal Studios. In Orlando and in Hollywood, there may be something to do this September and October with Five Nights at Freddy's.
And that, my fellow HHN obsessees, was the actual Jason Blum from Blumhouse that just leaked it at this panel he was at in Mexico.
Oh. Hey, to be fair, he neither confirmed nor denied.
He said there may or may not.
It was kind of a non-statement, right?
Yeah, but it was enough.
You could say that about anything.
On the actual screen up above him, it said Five Nights at Freddy's Halloween Horror Nights. So they scrambled. I don't really know how fast Halloween Horror Nights put out the statement, but I think it was within a matter of like 10 to 15 minutes that happened.
I guess it's safe to assume anytime there's a random time for an announcement, it's damage control. It's usually covering up a leak.
There's always a leak, James. Always a leak. So the little statement that Universal put out was Five Nights at Freddy's is coming in a whole new way to this year's Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights in both Hollywood and Orlando. More details coming soon. So that's all they dropped. They didn't drop like any specific details of what was coming to Halloween Horror Nights. It just said that Five Nights at Freddy's was coming. Didn't necessarily say it was a house or anything. So again, semi-announcement. If you think about it, we've seen a video game, we've seen movies, whatever. There's never been a haunted house. So that's more than likely what a all new experience means, or whatever the statement was. But yeah, that was the first announcement or semi-announcement that we got. Five Nights at Freddy's, which again, I said I was very confident in all the 5 IPs that were speculated. So I mean, we've been talking about Five Nights at Freddy's for a very long time this season, and in fact, we've talked about Five Nights at Freddy's possibly coming to the event the past 3 years. It's been speculated. The biggest amount of fuel that the speculation had was this year, so it was kind of obvious. But I mean, it's been on spec maps the past 3 years, really. maybe just on one map and then it disappeared. But this year it was pretty strong. So it was kind of obvious that they finally pulled the trigger on it. But man, what do you think? We're getting Five Nights at Freddy's officially.
I don't know. Should I have strong feelings one way or the other? The games are fun to watch people play. I never personally played them. I probably will coming up with my sisters at some point.
Hmm.
There's a million games of it.
There is. This is going to be based off the movie, though, the first movie. I don't know how similar the
Yeah,
games are to the movie.
I've always been a little indifferent towards the games, but then the
Mhm.
movie, it kind of alienated non-fans. I thought I went in with an open mind, and it seemed like an insiders club.
To be perfectly honest, Five Nights at Freddy's the movie was a little boring. It was just very slow and didn't have a whole lot going on. As far as a haunted house, though, I think it would be it would be much better than the movie. I think they could pull it off much better as a house than the movie. I don't think we've had a Chuck E. Cheese animatronic type haunted house, even if there was any originals back in the day. I don't think we've had any of that. I think
Uh,
it's kind of
I would
cool.
argue, Killer Clowns from Outer Space
That's not the
in
same
a
thing.
weird roundabout way.
That's not the same thing,
They're
not at
kind of
all.
mascots. Their faces don't move too much. They're malicious, a little bit.
So some other things that people are speculating on, because everyone kind of figures there is a haunted house coming, and all the insiders are saying yes, there is a haunted house of Five Nights at Freddy's this year. Other stuff that people are speculating is we haven't had a scare actor dining experience in a couple years. They kind of got rid of it because it used to be at Monsters Cafe, and then when Monsters Cafe bit the dust for Minions Cafe, they tried it over at Louis Pizzeria in New York, and it didn't really work very well there, so they didn't do it after that year. So we've missed it for about 2 years, I think. So people are speculating that Scare Actor Dining could be coming back, and it could be a Five Nights at Freddy's Scare Actor Dining in the pizzeria, right?
Ooh, that'd be cool. And they're in robot character. They're not killer character because they're just serving. That'd be fun because they're like on a sleep mode right now. That'd be pretty fun to dine with the killers that they're not killing right now. I like it.
So I think that could be fun. The Scare Actor Dining is an extra experience that you have to pay for. It is before Horror Night starts. So you buy the ticket, you go in there to have like an early dinner, do the Scare Actor Dining, and then Horror Night starts, and then they open the pizzeria up to Horror Nights after that. So
They could even have
uh,
fun with the servers. You know, they could be like crappy minimum wage Chuck E. Cheese servers, like just rude to you. That'd be fun.
So yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's, we're getting it. Again, this is a semi announcement. So all the insiders are kind of saying that we are going to get the official announcement later for Five Nights at Freddy's, and it does make sense because there's no details on it yet. So a lot of them are saying it's going to be one of the last IPs to be announced. That originally it was scheduled to be released in July, and I think it was Legacy said that the plan was for them to use Five Nights at Freddy's to promote the multi-night passes, like the frequent fear passes and the rush of fear passes. So that's probably when the official announcement's going to be. So when that happens, I guess we can do a whole nother separate episode and talk about the details of it. So we won't go into too much more detail about that specifically for this one.
Okay.
Since I just mentioned frequent fear passes, let me talk about this quick rumor. So there is a rumor going around right now, and it's pretty strong. I hope it's not true, but we'll just have to see. There is a rumor going around that they are doing away with Express on all the frequent fear passes. And that is mostly because the previous years they've had to deal with, the Express lines being completely packed because of the frequent fear passers. They don't really know how many of those people that have the passes are going to show up on a specific day. There's no way of knowing that. So a lot of times it just gets overcrowded. Last year they tried to limit the express passes and everybody was upset that they didn't get theirs because it was so limited and it went away so fast. So the rumor is they're just getting rid of it entirely. And another rumor is that there will be an option to add Express to them. However, it will be at a discounted rate for a certain amount of days that you want it. Like if you want just only 4 days with Express, it'll be a discounted rate for the Express being put onto your pass. Those are the two rumors going around for that. None of that could be true, and we could still be getting Express on them.
So instead of the crowded all at once days, what are they trying to do? They're trying to disperse all of it across everything.
It kind of doesn't make sense, yeah, because now if they just get rid of Express, the regular standby line is going to be packed, right? Is that right to think? If you take away all the people that originally had Express from their passes, they're going to go into the standard line now. It's going
I
to
feel like the crowd that
cause
they're trying to disperse doesn't translate to the rest of the crowd. You know, they're trying to mush them all as if they're one thing, but these are the big ticket people. You know, it's a different breed. They're
yeah, it's
handling them wrong, right?
Yeah, it's mostly the locals that go there a lot, that go for only a set amount of days, and it's cheaper to get those passes that way than get individual ones. So, but again, they're like hardcore fans that get those. So, it's just kind of upsetting, their main fan base, I would say, but I don't know what kind of strategy they're going for. I would assume it's just to get more money out of everybody. That's their main goal. Obviously, single night express passes are still going to be available. Those cost more. So if they get rid of the multi night passes with the express, people will just buy single night express pass for higher rates if they really want it. Now, however, if this does
Yep.
happen, I mean, it's not the end of the world, obviously, but it's definitely going to heal my wallet a lot better this year because there is a huge price difference between the frequent fear pass and the frequent fear pass with express. We're talking like 300 something bucks versus 800 to 900 bucks.
I think they need some kind of mini division of the crowd control people, whoever is making those decisions, because they're treating everyone the same, and you know they gotta treat the big ticket guys differently. You know, they're sorting
Mhm.
them like as if they're small fish. I don't know, because the most crowded times are what they're trying to handle, and they're doing it weird.
Like I said, I think it's just the fact that they don't know how to control the amount of express passes from those multi-night tickets because people can just show up on any day they want, right? But they don't know when they're coming. So there'll be one day that 90% of the multi-night ticket holders will show up and clog up the express lines. While they've sold already a ton of single night express as well for that specific night.
So it'd be better to place the prediction, right? Like when so they can expect.
It's almost like, yes, if you buy the multi-night pass with Express, they should add an option like saying, "Hey, I'm showing up on these days." But people can just put that and not show up. That's the problem. It's kind of a very hard thing to weigh out.
That's gonna get really I don't know, technical and stuff, you know, like and it's not even gonna matter. People are gonna be
Ex-
scheduling and juggling calendars, and then for what?
Yeah. And then
Yeah,
that loses them money because they think a certain amount of Express pass holders are coming and they don't, and they can't sell the single night passes because there's a certain limit they want to sell. So if a certain amount of people say they're showing up, then they're not going to sell a certain amount of passes of the single nights. But then when those people don't show up, they've lost money because they didn't sell those single night passes. So
right.
that's why they'll probably never do that. And that's why they probably rather just go with just sell single night passes and everybody will be happy. Besides having to pay a bunch of money, if you buy the single night express, you'll get actual express. The express line will be short. We've never really had a problem with express. The longest we've ever waited was like 20 minutes. But there has been a lot of times that, during the event, the express has been clogged up and has been a major problem. So I think we've just gotten lucky on the times we've gone. So that is why that is a current rumor that we might not be getting it. But again, just a rumor. We'll just have to wait for July and see what happens. So, but I'm still prepared. Just gonna expect that we're still getting the express pass. Have the money put aside for it, and we'll see. All right, let's move on to the next announcement, the actual big official one. The
There's
first
more.
official the first official announcement.
There's more, and this one and the thunder was stolen, and this is the
The
real thing, but it was taken by by Dustin Bloom over here.
Yeah. So this one that we're about to talk
Stealing
about was the
thunders.
original planned first announcement, which is a little weird that this was the first one. So, real quick, one thing I did forget to mention was Five Nights at Freddy's. When they did post the semi-announcement post, that post on all social medias got the most likes and views out of any Horror Nights post has, as far as I heard and saw. Five Nights at Freddy's is a big deal. It's a big deal for the event, and I think it's going to bring in a ton of people. The games in general have a huge following. There could be a lot of younger people coming to the event this year. So it is weird that wasn't the first announcement, knowing that that was a pretty big IP grab. James, let's talk about this next announcement. I sent you the video. Do it. Oh. You will probably know what it is right away.
Good evening, citizen. If you're just tuning in, you're in for a treat. Our friends at Vault-Tec are showcasing a revolutionary new experience, unlike anything you've seen before. Don't take it from us. Hear it straight from one of our special volunteers.
Live the horror you love to watch at Universal Halloween Horror Nights, featuring Fallout and more.
Fall out of batteries.
So it is
Fallout.
official. Yeah, it is official. Fallout is coming to Halloween Horror Nights as a haunted house. I don't know what to think about this, man. I've been saying this whole spec season that Fallout just it doesn't look like a horror property, but I'm going to watch the show now. I'm going to watch it. And I'll probably enjoy it. I'll probably be excited once I see it, but
And that's all they needed. They succeeded with that. They got another viewer.
yeah. Apparently, another pretty big property for this year. This has a huge fan base. Again, another video game that has a huge following. But I think the show in general has the highest ratings for any Amazon Prime show. So I think Halloween Horror Nights has they've kind of nailed the big ones this year.
And Walton Goggins, he's having a big moment too. You know, he can do no wrong on the internet right now.
So there was an official press release. So let me bring that up. So, for the first time ever, horror fans will step into the post-apocalyptic wasteland of Prime Video's Fallout in an all-new terrifying haunted house at Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights. The unimaginable terror becomes a reality starting Friday, August 29th at Universal Orlando Resort and Thursday, September 4th at Universal Studios Hollywood. Based on the award-winning global video game franchise, Fallout was a critically acclaimed hit with audiences worldwide when it debuted on Prime Video in 2024. The cinematic series is set in the year 2296, 200 years after a nuclear war destroyed civilization. All that is left is an eradicated and highly violent hellscape known as the Wasteland, crawling with mutated animals and creatures, while gentle citizens take refuge underground in luxury Fallout shelters known as vaults. In this terrifying haunted house, fans will encounter iconic scenes and characters that will put them into the frightening action of the popular series. The journey begins beneath the surface in Vault 33, where guests follow vault dweller Lucy McLean as she escapes a bloody massacre, only to discover an evil hidden secret. From there, visitors venture to the surface, where they must dodge attacks from scavengers and raiders, desperate survivors who will do anything to remain alive, as well as mutated cockroaches known as rad roaches. Ugh, we're getting giant roaches in here. As guests travel through the hellish wasteland, they will go through iconic locations like the Super Duper Mart and encounter the Ghoul, an ageless bounty hunter who endured radiation exposure for centuries. Additionally, they will come face to face with a young squire named Maximus and gaze in awe at his T-60 armor. With frightful terrors at every turn of the eerily authentic haunted house, fans will question if they can ever escape the horrors of the wasteland. And there you go.
Hey, Voldemort and Vecna got some new competition. All right, there's a new noseless guy. And
There's
his
some
name is the
similarities
Ghoul,
there for
and
sure.
everyone loves him.
Similarities. What's also similar is the past 2 years, the very first house announcement was an apocalyptic house. For HHN32 was Last of Us. HHN33 was A Quiet Place. And now it's Fallout.
Another trend.
And I think we've talked about this before. Just like those other two apocalyptic houses, the food booth for this one is probably going to be in that alley. Fallout food.
Oh, you know what I need?
The
I need the
cola?
giant roly-poly thing from Emperor's New Groove. I need a edible roach. I need a rad roach dish.
Ugh, dude.
You
Oh,
ever see
no.
the Emperor's New Groove? They whack it and it unrolls.
Yeah.
Delicious.
I don't know if I'll be able to handle that if there's like fake roaches as the food, but definitely that radioactive cola drink. You know what I'm talking about?
Nuka-Cola.
Nuka Cola, yeah. They got to have that, right?
Yeah, it's like cream soda and whatever else.
Oh yeah, there's also this quantum blue stuff. Quantum blue like Fallout drink. So they might have something with that too. Nuka Cola, give us some Nuka Cola. I'm sure it'll be a collaboration with Coca-Cola. So, with this Fallout announcement, we also got single night tickets and a couple of other tickets for purchase. So there are currently Halloween Horror Nights tickets for sale. They're just not the multi-night passes yet. Those will probably be dropping in July. So we did get single night tickets that are now on sale, and those start at $84.99 a person for a single night. And that's not saying that that's going to be the price every night. It varies on what night you go, but the cheapest option available will be $84.99. But I've seen single night tickets go up to like $200. So it just depends on it depends on how busy the night is that you decide to go on. They also have the single night express passes available for purchase, and those start at $139.99 a person. Again, they just start at that. Those I've seen go up to $300, I think.
Guess it'll work the same as airplane tickets. You know, the closer you get to it, the higher it goes.
Yes.
Regardless how it fluctuates, that's a safe bet.
So the Behind the Screams Unmasking the Horror tours are also on sale now, and just like last year, they are starting them early. This time, it's only a week early. I believe last year was 2 weeks early. So there is a whole extra week before the event starts that you can see the houses with the lights on behind the scenes. Those tours start. Oh, I'm sorry. It's only the 3-house tour that starts early. So the 6-house tour does not offer the early access. If you want to do one of those early 3-house tours, those start August 22nd. And then, of course, the 6-house tours start August 29th when the event starts. So for those tours, you'll get exclusive photography access, photograph select rooms and select haunted houses during your tour. You will get an exclusive pin per guest. And this is actually something new that they've added this year. And it's kind of nice. If you do the 6-house haunted house tour, there is a new buffet lunch that is included in that tour.
Part of that deal, you get all you can eat. Oh,
yeah, that's during the break for the 6-house tour. But here's what you really want to hear, James, because I know you were really excited for this last year. I personally won't be able to do it, but they are doing the premium Scream Night again this year. And it's the day before the event starts. It is the Halloween Horror Nights Premium Scream Night. Be one of the first to scream at Halloween Horror Nights at this exclusive event. One night only, Thursday, August 28th, 2025. Shorter wait times with staggered entry. Enter haunted houses staggered by group. All you can eat or all you care to enjoy select food and drink on select food and non-alcoholic beverage options. And then complimentary self-parking. That ticket is also available for purchase.
hey, you know that for HHN Light, that's pretty bulky, you know?
What do you mean HHN Light?
I mean, if it's like a sampler platter, if you're going for one night and then you're getting all of that, that's pretty sweet.
Well, you're paying like $400 for that night, but you get to see the whole event with shorter waits and you get free food. Like literally last year everything was open. It was crazy. Like the portions were smaller, but you still got anything you wanted. It was pretty wild.
Oh, that still sounds so enticing. Yeah, if I was a less committed person, I would do that.
Yeah, just the one night experience, get to do
guess.
it all and Yeah, it makes sense. A lot of people just want to do one night, and that's the way to go. I've heard that it was a great opportunity. Now, it was very slow last year, but I figure the word might have got out with that, and it might be busier this year. But again, there's still a capacity limit that they will stop at. So
Yeah, a big thing to consider if you're like one of those, like one or the other, like is how much walking can you handle? Like that is a factor. Some people don't hike, you know.
all right, so back to the other tickets. The last couple of tickets that are being sold currently are, of course, the Rest in Peace tour is also available for purchase. That is the tour where a tour guide takes you to the very front of all the lines of the houses during Horror Nights, and you go straight into the house without having to wait in any line. That one, I should have had this all written down, but the prices usually range probably from like $300 to $400 on the lower end per person, on top of your Horror Nights ticket. So you have to have a Horror Nights ticket plus this ticket to get on one of those tours. And then the last ticket that's being offered currently is the Scream Early ticket. For $55, you can purchase this ticket. If you don't have a daytime pass, you can show up in the park at 3 o'clock and have 2 hours in the park to do whatever you want if you want, or you can go straight to Stay and Scream and hang out there. It's basically a Stay and Scream ticket to where you'll be able to have early access into Halloween Horror Nights.
Hmm.
$55 is a little steep, I would say. It's almost not even worth it, but if that's what you like doing,
2 hours unsupervised, ride whatever.
that's probably not a good thing for you. It would cause all the chaos.
Monkey bars under the roller coasters.
Speaking of which, real quick, the closure date for Rip Ride Rocket has been changed. First, they were saying that it was going to close in early September. Now they have changed that and they are saying August. And I believe it's August 18th is the final day to ride
Hmm.
Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket, which is interesting because it's like a little over a week before Horror Night starts.
Well, that's too bad they moved it up. I thought maybe they were gonna have a little more time with it.
Yes, August 18th. So it's also interesting because they've already started prep of. It looks like they're preparing areas to start demolishing it. Each corner, over there in City Walk by the Hard Rock Cafe, there is construction walls. They're doing something in that corner, and then over there by where the tribute store usually is, where the Ghostbusters firehouse is, there's construction walls there as well already. So they're doing something early. Bye bye, Rip Ride Rocket. It's probably for the best though. There's probably going to be a much better coaster they get
Rest in
put there.
peace.
Bought the magnet, by the way.
Got the magnet. Got the T-shirt, or not the shirt.
Rip Ride rocked it.
No.
Yeah, that's what I got. I couldn't do the shirt. I was like, I'm never gonna wear this shirt. I'm not gonna get it.
Standards. All right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I got the magnet just to have something.
There's literally anything you could do with rest in peace. Anything. Literally any design of the shirt can't go wrong. I'm disappointed, y'all.
All right. So yeah, that is pretty much all the official announcements that have come out for the time being. What are you most excited for, James? Fallout or Five Nights at Freddy's? If excited at all.
I would say Fallout. You know, hype wise, either way could go or come. I mean, I'm cool, but I like Fallout. That was a fun show. They did some different things with it. It's like weird and funny, but dramatic.
I definitely need to
because it's not just a straight comedy.
I definitely need to get started on HHN homework like now because there's so much. There's the Fallout show, all the other IP stuff that we have to go through. Both of these IPs, I really think that me personally, they're kind of just like, okay, they're here. They're not a really big deal to me. So I don't know what to think of them quite yet, but we didn't think Ghostbusters was going to be a great house last year, and it was. So we just have to see how they pull it off. And I definitely think that the IPs are huge this year, and it's going to be packed, man. I think it's going to be a very busy year because of it. I do want to get into a couple of spec stuff, and there's one I really want to mention to you. It's something just real quick. It's not much information, but it's a little blurb that Legacy put out, or a little post that Legacy put out that I do want to mention to you because I think it might get you a little excited.
All right.
So, if you remember the last spec map, there was a little toys icon, and it's an original. I just
what
think
icon?
it's funny. I think it's just funny because you referenced it. You referenced this
No
kind
way, I
of.
touched on something.
You did whenever we talked about this toys original. So on the forums, this person with the username simply Joey asked Legacy, "Do you have any new information or backstory of the toy haunted house coming to the event this year?" And Legacy's response, you ready for this?
Shout out Joey. Yeah, tell me.
It's forgotten toys, making sure they're remembered by any means necessary. Take Woody from Toy Story, or Jessie, or Lotso, and make them murderous against humans instead of other toys.
Evil Toy Story.
Evil Toy Story. Now, you did mention the whole Sid thing, how Sid could be
Yeah.
making his demented toys. So it's not necessarily that, but the fact that he referred to Toy Story, I thought, oh, James will love that.
Yeah, I was saying don't put Sid in there. Like he'll be for sure traumatized.
What if we get the
I mean, he
knockoff
already
Sid
was, but-
in there?
Oh. Hey, hashtag the toys are alive. There we go.
So that's one of the rumored tents. I think it's one of the older tents. So I'm excited for a crazy toy haunted house. I think that's gonna be fun. I hope it's akin to the Dolls of the
Oh, yeah.
Damned
The
house.
set design is going to be insane.
I hope so, dude.
If you heard it, kit bashing, it's like basically what Sid does, and like that's going to be the whole interior, like the whole set design. It's just going to be kit bashed toys.
You know, and
Be
I also
awesome.
think somebody actually mentioned small soldiers as well and referred to it with this house as well. So I thought that was funny because you mentioned that too.
My nightmare with the cutting of the fingers.
Yeah.
Eek.
But yeah, that's just a quick update of the spec for that one. I know I'm real like all over the place with this. I just keep remembering certain things to talk about. I totally forgot to mention with Five Nights at Freddy's, the Jim Henson Creature Studio shared or posted on their story about the house coming to the event. So it looks like they have an involvement.
Oh yeah, I forgot where we read that Jim Henson was involved. Yeah, that is very cool. They're gonna like as good as cosplays as there's been.
Mhm.
They're gonna make it to a T. You know, they're gonna give it the McFarlane treatment. You know, the Todd McFarlane like toys and like sculpting and all that. They're gonna nail it. They're probably gonna be like 8 feet tall, and like the fuzz is gonna be just right.
I hope so. I hope it's incredible. I hope it blows us away. I really do. Also, Fallout is rumored to be going into one of the newer tents. It's the one that Universal Monsters was in last year. So, actually getting an IP in a tent. We haven't had that in a very long time. I don't think we've personally seen an IP in a tent since we've been going. Besides the Men in Black tent, I guess, which is gone.
Is that a demotion? Are we prioritizing our
I wouldn't
original ideas now?
I wouldn't say so because it's in the new tent, and the new tent is huge. And the rumor was that those houses last year did not use the space to their advantage because of budget, probably. They didn't use up all the space, so there's a lot of space in those big tents. You know, they did replace the parade buildings, so I think it's going to be fine having an IP in there. So next up, that is speculated, of course, is Friday the 13th, James. It's obviously a big deal if it does show up to the event, but coming up in just a few days is a Friday the 13th.
A literal Friday the 13th? Or are you talking about?
Yeah. In a few days there is going to be a Friday the 13th.
Oh no!
So, in theory, you know, in a very smart theory, Universal would release the announcement on Friday the 13th, right?
Yeah, they better. There it is. It's coming up this Friday.
Well, guess what, James? All the insiders are saying they are not doing that.
Oh, that's a safe bet. Why would they
But-
jump on an opportunity?
Exactly.
Too pointy opportunities.
how good of an opportunity is that? They have to miss it, right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
them. That's what they do.
Everyone, place your bets against HHN, please. It's a safe bet.
Um,
At 1 o'clock, right?
I'll give him just a tiny bit of credit, because when you announce something on a Friday, it's not a very good. It's not a great day to announce something. A big reason for that is like news, like the people that put out the news articles, like all the major media outlets. They don't really release stuff on the weekend. So if they were to release a statement or an announcement on Friday, those news outlets are not going to report it until Monday. So
Tough cookies. Do it. Do it at 1300, right? That's 1 o'clock, I think. Friday the 13th at 13 o'clock.
But even if they did it the day before on the Thursday, like they usually do, I think it would still be at least okay.
Nah.
But just to completely miss the opportunity of this Friday the 13th. Another thing going around is that there's that whole thing with the rights of Friday the 13th. There was like this big mess for the rights, and they were finally able to come to an agreement and get some of the story back. Well, a lot of the speculation going around is where the house is not going to be called Friday the 13th, because that name might still be owned by the people they were trying to get
That's
the rights
fine.
from.
A name is a name. Property is property. It's fine.
Everyone's saying it could be Jason Campground Kills.
Oh, weird.
That's a joke, but like something
Crossover.
like that.
Would he be with or against the Yetis? We'll never know.
Or Jason Ultimate Kill Count.
There you
go. Just something along the lines where it's just Jason or Camp Crystal Lake Nightmares or something. I don't know. Just something that doesn't have Friday the 13th in the name is going to be the house, which
it's weird.
It kind of does make sense.
You know, it's weird that has Jason in the name. The calendar, July, August, September, October, November. Jason, isn't that weird?
But then Jason Derulo.
Or Jason it.
Either way, I'm eagerly waiting for a Friday the 13th announcement.
What are they going to name it? Saturday the 14th, Thursday
that
the
is an
12th?
Actual movie. It's a parody movie from the 80s, but no.
Well, if their name is Untouchable, they got to get creative.
There's still a small possibility that they'll announce something this coming week. They'll announce, Jason, but probably not. The best bet for the next announcement that everybody's saying is in 2 weeks. Will be the next one, and a lot of guesses are it's going to be the WWE house. Just like last year, the Spooky Empire convention is happening, and Horror Nights does have a panel. Last year, they announced Slaughter Cinema 2 at the panel, so they could be announcing something else.
And we'll be there. So no, we're not going to be there.
We're not going to be there.
Maybe in the future we'll be at some events. Who knows?
All right, so the last thing I want to talk about speculation-wise is another original that we were discussing, the whole Killustrator spec that was going around. Yes. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like that was accurate. We're not going to get any kind of crossover this year, it looks like.
They killed it. They killed that rumor.
Yeah, that was probably never a thing. However, the house is still art themed or adjacent, I guess. It has something to do with that. It has to do with an artist.
Adjacent Derulo.
So I'm gonna read a couple things that Legacy has put out about what he's been hearing about this house. He put in a post on Discord, I believe. He put the story of the house is literally a 1800s Spanish artist who moves into a remote Spanish manor, starts to lose his mind, and eventually starts drawing on the walls. Like the house is Goya.
That last part lost me a little. Goya?
Yeah. I think
all I can think is like the rice brand.
No.
They make rice.
I think it might be an artist. Hold on. Yeah.
Hey, well, an artist who loses it. That's pretty cool.
Francisco Goya.
He made rice.
Painter. Yeah, so he was a Spanish painter. Yeah, real. So he's comparing this Spanish artist to Francisco Goya. I guess this original idea is kind of loosely based off of this. I guess maybe he went insane at some point. I don't know. Let me see.
Cool. Relatable. Insane artist.
He had a descent into madness, apparently, and went into a deep depression.
Hey.
Okay. So, yeah, he had a lot going on, like the real dude. Now, another thing that Legacy has said about the house. So, he was responding to another comment on Discord. He said, I picked Goya for a reason. Just like Pine Straw is a thinly veiled fictional take on Robert Johnson, the character in the house is a thinly veiled fictional take on Goya. Occupation, location, time period. They're all the same as what's in the house. Also, just like Pine Straw was entirely a passive victim and thus wouldn't have been a good icon for the event, the protagonist of this house is entirely a passive victim. I really like how he's comparing this to Darkest Deal. Now this gets me really excited for this house. And it's also, according to all the rumors, it's in a soundstage. We could be dealing with a Darkest Deal / Blood Moon situation here. Very beautiful, big, original house.
Yeah,
About
I'm
an
liking these side by sides. Robert Johnson, I didn't realize it was that's cool. The Devil and Robert Johnson was the old thing, but I'm familiar more with The Devil and Daniel Johnston, you know, the Austin musician who died. So that's cool that Robert Johnson is like the soul selling thing. That's like a thing that exists, and they not parodied it, but they paralleled it, right? So they'll be doing that with some crazy artists. That's cool. It's like based on real events.
Yeah. And I still think it's a win for you because you get a haunted house that's based off an artist going insane. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I wonder where this is going to fall on your little hype list later.
Dude, I'm gonna compare notes with this guy. He's lost his mind. I'm like on the way. Okay, help each other out.
So I guess Goya had something called the Black Paintings. Hold on, let me look that up.
If they don't serve rice and beans at his food stand, you know, some classic Goya, I'll be upset.
So the Black Paintings is the name given to a group of 14 paintings by Francisco Goya from the later years of his life, probably between 1820 and 1823. They portray intense, haunting themes reflective of both his fear of insanity and his bleak outlook on humanity. Okay, so with that in mind, that is what the Black Paintings are.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. They remind me of like when in Pinocchio when they turn into donkeys. I'm looking at all these like goat dancing around paintings.
Okay. Somebody asked, do you think that we could see rooms inspired by the actual Black Paintings? Legacy responds and he says, it's going to be original stuff. They'll likely be inspired by the Black Paintings and be in the same largely impressionist style, but they're unlikely to use the actual paintings. So I guess that's
Ooh.
obvious.
You know, it'd be so cool. We're in his art house, whatever, and then as we go through, it gets like all scribbly on the walls, and then we're transported into his schizophrenic reality.
Yeah, that's probably what this house is going to be.
Oh,
And it's in an old manor too.
just surrounded by dancing donkeys. That's freaky.
I think this
There's
is going to be
donkeys
your house,
dancing,
man. I think this is going to be your house right here.
I accidentally searched Goya Devil Rice, and that's very interesting as well. But so I hope they're serving rice because Goya, maybe some goat meat.
But yeah, that's basically gonna cover all the speculation that we have so far. I
And
think from here on we're gonna get just announcement after announcement after announcement. I mean, we are so late. I don't know. We're so late into the year, and we just barely got our first official announcement. They're gonna have to start, coughing them out very quickly. They'll probably announce all the IPs first and do those separately. I'm willing to bet they will either do all the originals at once, just have a huge drop, which they've done in the past, or they do the same thing as last year and they release the originals one a day, every day for a week.
Yeah, I know we were joking, but I hyped myself up too much already. So like I'm picturing the cold night at Horror Nights, and then you get like a steaming orange bowl of rice with like a fat tomato just in the middle. Just like hot, steamy rice. Walk around.
But don't be disappointed when they don't have that rice bowl, though.
Well, I don't know. They're talking about Spanish artists and Goya, and they're throwing rice in my in my sugar plum brain.
Yeah, man. Any last thoughts on all this HHN news and spec? We talked about Five Nights, we've talked about Fallout, and then all the.
Fallout's the big doggy of this one, I think. You know,
You
they
see,
got
you
the
say
first
that,
season.
but Five Nights is showing a much bigger following.
I guess I'm underestimating how voracious the fans will be.
I think you are. Yeah, Fallout is a big show. Like I said, I think from what I heard, Fallout is the number one most watched Amazon Prime show. So it's still a big grab, and I'm actually excited to check it out. As far as I've seen, everybody is super on board for Fallout. Like, there's hardly any pushback from it, which surprises me because there's always a property that comes that doesn't seem like it fits, and everybody just hates on it, which I've been kind of doing a little bit. I'll admit that, but I'm seeing just all the positivity about this property coming as a house. Everybody is excited to see it. Now I'm getting excited, and now I want to check out the show and see what it's all about.
Yeah, I could stand a rewatch. It's been a while. I
Oh,
watched it fresh when it was out, and then never again. So it's like kind of gone. I didn't hang on to a lot of the details.
exciting stuff, man. Did you see the merchandise that they released for Fallout?
I don't think so.
It's actually not too bad. The shirt's kind of nice. I kind of like the shirt.
Oh, yeah, decent.
And they have like the little tumblers.
I wonder if they'll have anything useful like the little key card wallet thing they had before. Remember that it had the string and it is zapped back to your pocket.
Oh yeah, they always have those. It's like a lanyard, but it's a.
Yeah, I like when they have little useful things.
So they're also selling this little
Wow.
stained glass stand, and
Hmm. You put photos in
basically,
there?
basically every time they release an IP, they're gonna
Oh,
sell
okay.
these stickers to put in them.
Wait, sticker.
There's some kind of sticker. I don't know exactly what they're made of. Maybe they're better than a sticker, but
That's new.
yeah. But what's interesting is the fact that this is a stained glass. It almost looks like kind of a manor, you know?
A
Could
little bit, yeah.
be the artist house.
I hope it looks good. I hope it's not just like a little arts and crafts thing, like one by one with the stickers
It,
and
it
the.
might be something better. It might be, I think the material might be thicker or something. Apparently, people were thinking that they were air fresheners. So maybe they kind of look like that and have that kind of material. Not sure though.
Uh,
I haven't seen them.
Merch hasn't always been like my number one hype. You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah, and this is the preview merch. A lot of times, the preview merch isn't as good as the when the merch actually shows up at the event. But I think this Fallout merch is some of the better stuff that they've put out as the preview
yeah,
stuff.
it's a white shirt, so but it's vibrant
It's actually
and
it's like a tan. It's like a weird
oh, was it
yeah. It's
looked
like
white?
a beige.
Still gonna tie dye it.
Well, all right, everybody. So this is the part of the episode where I think I'm going to do a little recap of my Epic Universe trip. So if you're not interested in hearing about that or don't want any kind of spoilers, which I won't be really giving spoilers, but if you just want to know nothing about Epic Universe, this is your time to turn the episode off.
I'm out.
So if you don't want to listen to the rest of the episode, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. And we will definitely catch you on the next one, which will be coming very soon because these announcements are coming one after another. But yeah, Epic Universe. So like I said, I'm not gonna go into detail about like what the rides are or like or what's in the rides, I should say. I just kind of wanted to give just kind of a recap of my experience. James, of course, hasn't been to Epic Universe yet, and he doesn't want to be spoiled. So, you ready for this?
I think so. I don't know what that disclaimer was. Are you gonna like hold off a little bit or what are you?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna hold off a little bit as like I'm not gonna go into detail like of what the rides are because I think the rides themselves are the most important thing to keep spoiler free.
All right.
Um,
Yeah, and I'm not fully spoiler free anyway. I've been seeing little chunks, little glimpses.
yeah. But like, as far as like what's in the lands, are you trying not to hear certain things? Like what?
I think I'm okay. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna catch a stray, whatever you say. I think.
Okay. So yes, I only was able to do 1 day at Epic Universe, and this was a trip that I did with family. They took us all to Epic Universe, and it was unreal being there for the first week of the grand opening. So we get there, and first things first, parking, right? So it's just a parking lot. There is no parking garages, and it's full on sun. Out in the sun, there's no shade, and it's a long walk
Oh yeah, it's
from
gonna be a whole entirely different parking everything.
yeah, it's a whole it's like a couple of miles away from the original campus. This is a whole
It
separate campus now.
ugh, just in the sun, and then the walk.
So yeah, it's just an open parking lot, and there is a walkway in the middle of this big parking lot, and it is far. It's a good walk. I'm very
Hmm.
surprised that they didn't put any moving walkways. Maybe eventually they will, but yeah, it's a good walk. So if you go to Epic Universe, be prepared for lots of walking, and you start with the parking lot. Uh,
And no shade, no little canopy path.
yeah, that is one thing with Epic Universe, and a lot of people have been saying this too. Is Epic Universe doesn't have a whole lot of shade. There's not a lot of it.
Oh, the
Um,
park itself, you mean?
Even the park itself, yes, but the parking
Oh,
lot. Maybe as time goes on and all the trees start to grow and bloom a lot better, it will. But yeah, the shade is a little scarce at Epic Universe, so I'll say that.
man, there's gonna be malfunctioning dragons just falling out the sky, just overheating.
But let me tell you, when we were walking from parking and going into the park, hearing the music of Epic Universe and then seeing that Kronos Tower entrance, coming up, yeah, I literally got the chills. Like I couldn't believe I was actually about to head into this park. Like I
You had
couldn't
your
I couldn't believe I was there. Like I've been following this thing for almost 6 years. 2019 it was announced, so it's just very surreal being there. Like even just walking into it, but um, unfortunately, when we got there, there was a couple of hiccups. No pun intended.
ah. Yay.
So when I got the tickets, I picked will call, which I always do because I like printing the tickets and carrying around the tickets in my lanyard. It looks like they are starting to do away with that, or trying to phase that out, because the place where you usually scan your tickets now, you literally only scan your ticket one time and then they take a picture of you. And now every other time you enter the park, they just take a picture of you, and just by your picture, you don't even have to scan your pass anymore. So,
So they're learning from Six Flags.
yeah. So
I'm
having a
sorry.
ticket in your lanyard is probably not going to be needed very much anymore. But anyway, I
Weird.
expected them to have all those kiosks where you print them out. They do not have them at Epic Universe. As far as I could see, I didn't see them anywhere. So I had to go to the desk. I had to wait in line to print out tickets. And once I got to the ticket booth, they started to print them out, and only two of them actually printed the information on the piece of paper. All the other stuff was blank. So because of that reason, it completely like complicated stuff somehow in the system, and the team member had to figure it out, and it took some time, and it took a good 45 minutes, maybe almost close to an hour. It was crazy. But because of that, the team member was very, very nice and gave us all a single ride express pass for each of us. So we were all able to have express pass for one ride at Epic Universe. So that was nice. That was kind of a win in a way, although we had to wait a little bit, so it was cool. But we enter the park, enter Celestial Park, and man, again, insane going through that Kronos Tower and just walking into that park. Just the vibes are
Which one's that? Celestial Park.
Celestial Park is the middle section of Epic Universe that connects all the portals.
The neutral land, the middle.
Yeah. So the family, the only reason they wanted to go was for Super Nintendo World. So we went into Super Nintendo World, which, by the way, when we walked into Celestial Park, dead, absolutely dead. There was hardly any people, so I was like, "How is there nobody here?"
On like the
And
opening.
that's because like at the grand opening and a few days after grand opening, a lot of people were reporting that it was very slow. Like there was hardly anybody there, and they were limiting capacity for some reason. So I was kind of thinking that we were going to get lucky like that again. But when we walked into Super Nintendo World, that's where everybody was.
Oh, that makes sense.
uh, it was completely packed in that place. But dude, the portal is the green tube, and there's an escalator up the tube, and you hear the tube sounds of Mario. I don't even know how to recreate it. The doot doot doot.
There you go.
Yeah, something like that. And on the other side of the tube, the big reveal of Super Nintendo World, the pictures, the videos, they do not do it justice. There is so much going on. It is overwhelming. There's so much stuff moving. The colors are vibrant. There's just so much going on, a lot moving around. So we get into Super Nintendo World. It's completely packed, and we go ride Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge, and it's a 3-hour wait. And the main reason why it was so late, or sorry, why it was such a long wait, was almost all the major rides at Epic Universe were down when we first walked into the park, which scared me. I was like, "Oh no, we're gonna have a rough day on our first day." Which I get it. I wasn't like complaining or anything. It's a brand new park. They're still having some difficulties. So the Monsters attraction, Monsters Unleashed, was delayed. The Harry Potter Battle at the Ministry was delayed. Stardust Racers, the big roller coaster in Celestial Park, was delayed. Hiccups roller coaster was delayed. Donkey Kong Mine Train roller coaster was delayed. So there was hardly any big attraction open. So everybody was in Nintendo World at the Mario ride, basically.
So I guess they were running the first few days, and then they got
Well,
those issues.
they've been doing previews for 2 months prior. So
Yeah, they've been testing them, I'm sure, for a
so
while.
so they have been open to the public as previews, but throughout the previews, all that has been happening, and they're still having difficulties with some of the rides because the technology is insane. It really is.
Yeah,
Um,
just off and on, working, not working.
But
Yeah.
luckily, we had those express passes. We used them for Mario Kart, and it took about 30 to 45 minutes to get through that ride or onto the ride. And the queue, first of all, the queues for all the rides that I went on are just another level of Universal queues. They went all out, dude. The detail of this entire park is insane and on a massive scale. Like there's so many Easter eggs every nook and cranny that you look. But yeah, the queue for this ride is absolutely insane. It's very nostalgic if you played Mario and played classic Nintendo games. Like it's crazy being in that world and being able to walk through it. But James, I don't know if you've seen what this ride is, but basically, when you're in line, when you get kind of close to getting on the ride, they give you a Mario hat to put on. It's a plastic hat that clips on that you tie it
It's
in.
like the 3D glasses they give you, kind of. They give you a hat.
Well, it's more like
It's part of the ride, right?
it's almost like I don't know if you ever have put on the PlayStation VR.
Oh,
It
all
kind of
right.
has that kind of clip on it, and you tighten it with a dial in the back of your head.
Hmm.
So you get that, and then once you get on the ride, there is AR visors that magnet onto the hat. It almost looks like a sun visor, that goes down from the hat.
Gotcha.
So you're able to see through the visor as if you're looking through kind of sunglasses. That's kind of how it looks. However, with that visor, you see animated figures all around you moving.
And it tracks pretty well.
Oh yeah, it was
Oh,
crazy, dude, crazy. It
sweet.
was so cool because you could look down at your handle, at your steering wheel, and you could see your points digitally
Nice.
from your visor.
Cool.
Yeah. So it was literally like playing Mario Kart. So the
Dang.
steering wheel had 2 buttons to shoot. Unfortunately, mine, the right trigger was pushed in stuck. So already there's some problems happening with that stuff. So hopefully they fix that. It didn't take away from my ride experience though. I still had the other one. I wasn't
Hey,
able
is
to
this a
fully
go-kart or a ride? You're on a track, right? You're not on.
think the Men in Black ride vehicle track. That's kind of what it is, but a whole nother level.
Well, that's cool. I mean, they've had the time to perfect that AR VR stuff, because I remember back in the day they were trying that on the Superman ride at Fiesta.
Oh, that was terrible.
Not
Oh,
great.
I rode it. I rode that. I did not like it.
So that's cool. The AR, full force AR, just like everything is there.
But again, I constantly got the chills throughout the day at Epic Universe. There is a point in this ride that gave me those chills. Like I was like, oh man, this is insane. This is crazy. It just felt very nostalgic, and I was like, I just couldn't believe I was finally there, I guess. But very fun ride. Wasn't my favorite though, but very fun. Definitely not the best ride at Epic, but still incredibly fun. But yeah,
Mario.
we got off the ride and we parted ways with the family, and we basically had the rest of the day to ourselves.
Are we finishing the Mario chapter?
Well, yeah, we walk out of the ride, and that's where we part ways. After we get off the ride, the Mario Kart ride is on the top level. So we walk down to the bottom level to check out that area. Again, it's packed. We go grab some Coca-Cola Freestyle drinks, and we kind of think of what to do next. So at the time, Donkey Kong was still down, so we did not walk into the Donkey Kong land yet. We looked at the app, and the Monsters ride was open. So we were like, all right, let's go to Dark Universe. Let's walk into Dark Universe. And it was currently at a 30-minute wait, is what it was saying. I kid you not, dude. We start walking out of there, and as we start walking, everywhere I look, there's people running in that general direction. So I think everybody had the same idea. We walk into Dark Universe. Gorgeous, amazing. Like I cannot believe that land exists now. I can't believe there is a Universal Monsters land that's there basically forever. I mean, it's going to be there for a long time at least. It's unreal to think that exists now, but it really is a very detailed and very gorgeous land. But we walk through it to get to the ride, to the manor. Because everyone ran to the ride, there's a line that wraps around to the back of the land trying to get into the ride. Trying to get into the line, I mean.
Can I ask about the entrance and exits? Like, you went into Mario Land in an escalator, and then you left probably a different exit, right? Towards Epic?
Yes, so good question. So yeah, the portal itself, if you want the full experience of the reveal, you go through the portal and you get on the escalators up the pipe and you get the reveal on the top floor. However, there is entrances / exits on the sides of the land where you can just enter through doors and on the bottom floor.
Between worlds, right? Instead of going from like the main world into each world or something.
You walk out into Celestial Park. Celestial Park connects all the lands. Like you can't go from Super Nintendo to Dark Universe. You have to walk out of Super Nintendo World and go to Dark Universe through Celestial Park.
All right.
But
I just assumed they had connections between them, but
no.
Right.
Celestial Park connects all the different lands. They are one way in, one way out lands. So
Cool.
that is kind of a new setup, new layout that they've done. But like I said, the best way to enter those lands is always through the portals. But there is always side entrances and exits that you can take as well for all the lands. So yeah, we go through the manor. The queue is the absolute best queue that I got to see at Epic. Now I'll say I did not get to do the Harry Potter ride. We didn't even walk in that land. We did all the lands except Harry Potter, unfortunately. So I'm gonna have to save that for the next trip. But the absolute best queue I've seen so far. Just lots going on. I mean, it's a manor full of Universal Monster Easter eggs, and it's trying to explain the story of what the land and the ride is as you're walking through it, and it's incredible. There's a bunch of flashing lights and electricity happening everywhere, and that happens through the land as well. The actual ride, favorite ride that I rode at Epic Universe, and it might be my favorite ride of all time.
Wow.
Again, unreal that we have a Universal Monsters ride now. But this is what I'll compare the ride to. And this is obvious, as a lot of people are comparing it to this. Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, you know how you get into the car and it kind of moves you back and forth, up and down, kind of. That's what this ride is. It's the same type of ride mechanics and ride vehicle, but it's like second generation. It's like Forbidden Journey on crack,
All
basically.
right. Cool.
So Forbidden Journey, you fly in front of some screens, right? There's none of that in this ride. It is probably 90% sets and giant detailed animatronics and realistic animatronics. Like all the monsters that you see on that ride are these insane looking realistic animatronics. Like I can't believe that they pulled these things off. They
Do you
are
know?
whoa.
I just saw a behind the scenes of Anaconda, like the old Anaconda,
Oh
and
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
snake was real. It was a real like woo, and that was freaking me out.
It was an
Just seeing the
animatronic though.
snake wiggle.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, I've seen what Disney's capable of. I've seen the Frankenstein fluid stuff. It's gonna be freaky. Like I can't even picture it. Still kind of like that. You
Uh
even saw it is still freaky. It's cool.
yeah, dude. And this ride whips you around. Like if you think like Forbidden Journey kind of pushes you around, this one does it even more. But it's so fun and it's so just wild to experience. I am jealous of people that get to do this ride over and over again. I wanted to do it. I wanted to do it over and over.
Any fire?
Yes.
Yes. There better be. Well, that sounds. I mean, I'm gonna say epic. I mean,
That's what it is, man. By the way, we waited about an hour for this ride. Maybe 70 minutes, 75. But wasn't terrible. There is one outdoor section of the extended queue that is not covered, so it was really hot. But for the most part, most of the line is inside and air conditioned.
so bring your sun hats, I guess.
Oh, definitely, the Epic Universe, you're gonna want to for sure. We walked off the ride, and it empties you into a gift shop, and a gift shop that is full of just obviously Dark Universe, Universal Monster stuff. And it was so hard to not just splurge and buy everything, which I kept it
Yeah.
cool because I needed to not spend hardly any money while I was there because obviously we have the October trip and I have a bunch of other stuff coming up. So, yeah, it was very hard to not buy stuff. However, I did buy something. I had to. It was my plan from the get-go. I did purchase the Dark Universe vinyl, which is the soundtrack of the entire land, of the ride, of just every music that plays in that land is original, and it's done by Danny Elfman.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So they did make a vinyl for it, and I was very happy that they still had them, and I grabbed it.
You already listened to it?
Oh yeah, I've jammed that thing.
Sick. I was gonna say, don't get the like the the shark tooth necklace, but don't get the Frankenstein one because, I mean, that's a scam. It's any tooth could be a Frankenstein tooth. It's like he doesn't have teeth, right? He
Mm.
borrows everyone else's. So yeah, don't get the Frankenstein tooth necklace. Lies. Could have fallen off the ride. That's the tooth you get.
We walk out of the gift shop, and unfortunately, we did not get to do. We only had one day. We're limited on time, so all these lands I didn't really get to really look around at, all the shops and all the experiences, and I didn't get to eat a whole lot of snacks or try a whole bunch of stuff, unfortunately. But there is another ride in Dark Universe it's called Curse of the Werewolf. It's a little roller coaster. It's a spinning roller coaster, and I did not get to ride it, unfortunately. That ride had a good 80-minute wait almost all day, and I was like, I'd rather go try something else. And if there's
What do you
time
mean by
later in the day,
spinning roller coaster? Like how does it spin? The seat itself spins?
it's kind of like that, yeah.
Interesting.
As we were walking out, we saw Igor in the distance, and we had to go meet him
That was very cute. I
and
love
say
that
hi.
video.
Have you been seeing all the Igor videos, or you've been avoiding
I'm
them?
trying not to. It's very sweet though. I liked
Well,
that
that's the
interaction. That was cool.
sweetest he's been because he's usually a diva, man. He's a big diva, and he's funny. He's
Oh, cool.
one of the best characters that Universal has ever put on the streets. It's oh man,
Nice.
they better keep him around forever.
It's a character, so it's like not one actor.
Yeah, it's a character, so there's a couple of actors that play him. Yeah, because obviously one can't do it all day every day. Yeah, they rotate, and the character
Igor.
is part of the ride, part of the story of the ride too. So
Cool.
it's really interesting, dude, because it's pretty much an original land. So they created a whole story of this whole land, and all the walk around characters basically tell you the story. Like when they interact with you, they're giving you pieces of this story that have to
Nice.
do with the ride. It's basically Victoria Frankenstein is doing all these crazy experiments on the monsters, and there's a huge backstory to the ride and to the entire land, and it's very cool that it all connects and
Awesome.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, one of my favorite things is like seamless excuses for exposition, like in movies or anything, games, movie, whatever.
Mm.
And so like having all the guys just be NPCs,
Yeah.
like upholding the story. That's perfect.
But what's great is they're not on the level of an NPC. Like they're still very much like constantly improving and just on top of what they're saying. Like I could never do
Cool.
it. I give them major props to those actors.
Do they have a reason, or do they have a reaction to all these like normies like coming into their world, or no? That'd be like a little. You'd be like,
Kind
oh,
of in a way, but in a joke. It's almost in a very funny way.
and then there's just a giant portal over there. They're like, oh, welcome, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't get to meet the bride or the Frankenstein meet and greet or Frankenstein's monster meet and greet, but I've seen videos of them saying like are you friendly? Can we trust you? Victoria Frankenstein is not to be trusted, like that type of. But
Anyway,
again, I wish I had the time to do more in Dark Universe, but I'm definitely planning on spending way more time on the next trip. I'm hoping we at least get to do 2 days at Epic, and if that's the case, we'll get to do, 2 lands a day. Just be able to hang out a lot more. We did not get to go into Das Steakhouse, which is the main restaurant there, and I've seen clips of it, and it's just incredibly.
I haven't heard of that. Is that just a regular fancy restaurant?
It's not a
Das
fancy restaurant.
Steakhouse.
It's just a regular Universal restaurant, just like let's say Minions Cafe, like where you go to a
Hmm.
table, you scan the QR code and order from the QR code.
I was picturing more like the fancy restaurants of the City Walk, like
It's called Steakhouse because steak.
cool.
They
It's another
serve
themed one. I got you.
they serve a lot of things on steaks.
Okay.
Yeah, but again, I didn't get to go in there, and there's also the Burning Windmill Tavern.
Oh,
where the windmill actually catches fire from Frankenstein. I did not even get to go to that corner of the land, but
mm.
there is a whole tavern in there, a bar, and there is some food there as well. So did not get to try that. And then there's like another outdoor food booth as well. We walked out of Dark Universe and went to How to Train Your Dragon. At this point, all the rides were fully open, which I was
Oh.
very happy with. For some reason, they were down the first part of the day, but they were able to get them all back up.
Was that place competitive too? Were people running whenever they saw like, oh,
No, because
this?
by that time, everything had already opened for a bit because we
Uh,
were waiting in line for a good hour.
yeah, that dragon place looks
And it,
exciting.
and it wasn't the whole land that was closed. It was just the roller coaster. But
Hmm.
so we went into Burke. Burke is on a whole nother level, dude. I'm not even a huge fan of How to Train Your Dragon, and that land, it's competing with Dark Universe as my favorite. Like it really is. It's
I can't believe there's a Dragonland. That's crazy.
like it is absolutely stunning. It is the largest land that they have,
Wow.
and it's the most complete. It has the most attractions. It has the most food options. It has an insane amount of characters that walk around and you can interact with. It really is the most cohesive land that is at Epic Universe.
Did you eat any dragon food?
So that is where we had lunch, was
Oh,
in Burke, and we did go to Mead Hall. Very, very cool. Extremely themed to be able to eat in there. It's so themed that the chairs, the actual chairs, like are thick, this giant thick like Viking wood. I don't know what you think a Viking would sit on. And I'm thinking, oh, they're just, they're the theming is nice. They're big chairs. I I I pull on it. I pull on it to pull it away from the table so I could sit down. I couldn't believe how heavy it was. It was it was hard to drag it.
awesome.
Like that's how themed it is. It is literal heavy. It's a heavy material chair. Like
With scorch marks from the dragons and claws.
yeah.
No, I don't know.
As far as Meat Hall goes, personally, there wasn't a whole lot of stuff that really attracted me to it. So I ended up just getting the turkey wing. That it's basically the turkey wing from Halloween Horror Nights last year. So I was like, what could go wrong? Turns out the one that they gave me was very dry and chewy. I didn't have a
Yeah, I
pleasant
never
time
go
with
for
it.
those turkey legs.
This was a wing though.
Oh, wing.
But it was nice being in the AC. I still enjoyed my meal and my time and it was great. After that, we went and saw the Untrainable Dragon show. That was the by far the best show I've seen, the best daytime show I've seen at Universal. Top notch technology used. It was a very good show that I would watch again many times, and I look forward to checking it out again. I won't talk a whole lot about the show. After that, we got on the Hiccups roller coaster. Dude, we have another Hagrid's. That's what it is. It's another Hagrid's roller coaster, and so much fun, dude. Oh, it is. It's maybe a slight step down as in like it's slightly calmer and chiller than Hagrid's, but so much fun nonetheless.
Cool.
And the coaster, it intertwines with the entire land. So when you ride it, you basically see the whole land. And
Hmm.
you go over the water of Burke and all this stuff. So it's a whole nother experience, man.
I rewatched it when I last time I went to Vegas. I was just in the Airbnb, made a pizza, and I was watching that. But dude, Dragons is one of my comfort movies.
But yeah, we got to meet Toothless. That was nice. Very nice interaction. We met
Big old remote control,
dude,
right?
it is
He's like,
very realistic. It's
yeah, that's not a
crazy.
discount. It's just crazy, that it's an animatronic and he's someone's puppeting the thing. That's crazy.
We also got lucky. We got Hiccup as the actual actor that was there because they
Oh, that was
switched.
not a guarantee.
they switch to different people. Sometimes it's like a random Viking, I think. I don't know if I've even watched all the How to Train Your Dragon movies, so I'm not sure if it's an actual character from from the movies or the show. But there's like a couple that I did not recognize that I've seen. But we walked around and we met Rough Nut and Tough Nut, and we met Astrid as well. So that was a good time.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. Those are walk around characters. We did not do the boat ride. We were gonna, and we just didn't have enough time. And then we didn't do the. I always get them confused. So Hiccup's Wing Gliders is the roller coaster, and Wing Glider sounds like the Wing Glider, or it sounds like the glider ride that is in there. So that's what confuses me. The glider ride is called Dragon Racers Rally. I think those names should have been swapped. It's a little confusing, but we did not do that ride either. By the time we left Burke, it was getting later in the day. Sun was starting to set. And like I said, we did not get to go into Harry Potter. We could have walked in there just to check it out, but we didn't. So Harry Potter, I never saw the wait time go below 3.5 hours the entire time we were there. And get this, the longest time I saw on the app for that ride was 410 minutes. That's 10 minutes shy of 7 hours.
Oh my gosh.
So we did not even try it. That ride is the one that goes down the most. So a lot of people are still trying to ride it, and it's one of the bigger rides of the park. That and Monsters are the top two rides for everybody. So everybody's trying to ride the Harry Potter one.
That's when you gotta bribe the front in line. You gotta go up there and say like, "Hey, I'll buy your spot."
Which, by the way, the express that they gave us, when they gave that to us, they were like, "You can use this on any ride, but the Harry Potter ride and Donkey Kong for some reason." But yeah, Harry Potter was out of the question. Otherwise, we probably would have used it for that. But yeah, we walked back into Celestial Park, kind of just walked around and chilled a little bit. I wanted to ride Stardust Racers, but it was a little too long, and we wanted to go ride the remaining two rides in Super Nintendo. So I was a little bummed I didn't get to ride the big roller coaster in Celestial Park. I've heard that roller coaster is insane.
Is that Celestial Park? Is it full neutral, or does it kind of match the different worlds?
No,
You know?
it's an original land, and it's based off of, it's very space celestial themed. Like it's
Oh, okay.
all, the idea with Epic Universe and Celestial Park is the day you walk into Epic, that is the one and only day where the stars and the cosmos and everything align perfectly to open all these portals. That's the whole reason that you're able to experience these portals. Is this is the one and only day that this is ever going to happen.
So the Celestial place is like the Grand Central Station, and then you're there the day of everything's open. And you go out the portals. It's cool.
Yes.
It's like a futuristic place where portals are able.
All right. So we do end the day in Super Nintendo World. We go to Yoshi's Adventure, which is a cute little kiddie ride. It's just you get on a little Yoshi and it moves you very slowly through the land. I think it's actually a very nice ride to ride at night, which we did. I would not ride that ride during the day in the summertime because extremely hot.
Yoshi's gonna burn you.
Yeah. But you get to see the whole land, and at night, Super Nintendo World is on a whole nother level. And in fact, the whole Epic Universe, the lighting packages they put in these lands, that park is meant to be seen at night. The entire Epic Universe is just beautiful. They went overboard with the lighting. So it's a whole nother experience seeing all these lands at night. And then we did end our Epic Universe day in Donkey Kong Country. Really nostalgic land for me. My very first game system was the Super Nintendo, and that's the system that had Donkey Kong Country on it.
No way, you're an OG Donkey Konger.
I used to love Donkey Kong, and not the OG Donkey Kong, because the OG Donkey Kong was on Nintendo, and it was just Donkey Kong throwing barrels at Mario.
Yeah.
But Donkey Kong Country,
Cool.
yeah, I would play that as a kid. I also didn't mention we did not buy the power-up bands for Super Nintendo, which is the equivalent of buying a wand in Harry Potter. So basically, you buy the
Did you
power-up
watch
band.
everyone else?
Yeah, I kind of saw it, but you buy the power-up band, which hooks up to the app on your phone, and you can basically use that to go around the land and play games. You can hit all the blocks and get points. There's a ton of mini games all over Super Nintendo and Donkey Kong. In Donkey Kong, you can go with your wristband and find all the letters of Kong, just like in the game. So Kong is spread out all over the land, and you go find them.
How long before they put AR just in everywhere, or is it so much it doesn't even need it? You know,
It doesn't, dude. Like I said, the detail of these lands is on another level. It's very hard to describe. You just have to see it yourself. Like, even if you were to watch videos, I've been watching blogs and videos. It does not do it justice. Like, it's on another level when you're there.
is it too much? Do you get overwhelmed by the vibrant
Yes.
colors?
Yes, I was very overwhelmed.
You can't
But
turn it off. You know, everywhere you look, it's going to be sweet sugar brightness
and there's
colors.
sounds happening everywhere too. Like, it's the movements of everything. Like, there's so much going on in these lands. Like, there's animatronics moving everywhere. There's rides going. There's character meet and greets happening everywhere. Like, there's mini games. There's so much stuff going on.
I'm ready for the panic attack videos.
But we got on the Minecart Madness as our final ride at Epic Universe. It was nighttime at this point. Closed at 10, by the way. And it was probably 9:15 when we got in line for Donkey Kong. It's hard, but I think it was my second favorite ride I rode. Mainly because of nostalgic purposes. It beats Hiccup's roller coaster. But it was a very, very fun, very well-themed roller coaster. And another roller coaster that goes almost through the entire land. And I don't know if you ever played Donkey Kong, but there's a level in Donkey Kong where you're on a minecart and you like jump the track. There's like gaps in the track and you have to jump over it. That's what this ride is. You're basically hopping over gaps in the track.
I think I did see a video of a guy who was like constantly panicking every time the track was like broken. So I haven't seen very much, but I did see that.
A very, very fun ride that I can't wait to get back on. And yeah, it was just surreal riding that thing. And then we got off of it and we had to go grab the Donkey Kong float before everything closed down. It was about 9:50 by the time we got off the ride. So basically, it is a souvenir barrel, Donkey Kong barrel. They put pineapple Fanta, and then they put a pineapple. What is it called? Not sherbet. It's like a soft serve. There's another name for it, but they put that in there, and it has caramel popcorn on top of it, and it's in a round cone in the barrel.
How'd you drink the popcorn?
So they give you a Donkey Kong spoon, and there's a straw.
Was it good?
It was not as good as I thought it would be, but it was still really good, and a really cool souvenir barrel cup.
I wonder if you could just buy the cup. I'm sure, right?
I don't
You
know.
probably have to pay for the drink still.
Yeah. But you can buy the drink without the cup, though. So you could buy the cup once and then just get the cheaper priced one. Because they actually put it in a plastic cup in the souvenir cup, so it never gets dirty.
Oh, that's nice.
You know?
That's cool. Keep it a little clean.
But I think that basically covers my trip to Epic Universe. I might have forgot a couple of things, and I forgot to mention we weren't able to show up there until noon, so good chunk of the day was gone by the time we got there. But we still had a good amount of time to walk around. But that park is so massive. There's so much to do. I think you need at least 3 days to experience everything at Epic. If we were to get just 2 days, I think that would be enough to see the important stuff and not rush everything.
Hey, well, call me when there's a Zelda land, dude. I want to swing around pirate ships.
Well, you know that is rumored, right?
I know it was in the...
So the biggest rumor has been that it's going to replace Lost Continent at some point. That way there's a Nintendo World in every single land, because the rumor is Simpsons is closing soon, and that's going to be Pokemon. So there's going to be 3 Nintendo lands in every single one of the parks, right? Just like Harry Potter.
With the zip lines between each.
Yeah. However, Epic Universe has a bunch of expansion plots that are just open dirt fields that are for phase 2 of building. Some of them are kind of smaller than others, and there is a good size one right next to Super Nintendo World. So there is going to be some kind of expansion at some point there.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 rumors would be Zelda, but the biggest one is a Luigi's Mansion expansion. But
I guess.
But that is only because Zelda is rumored for the other park.
Okay.
Then there is another
Right.
expansion plot at Dark Universe, and people are speculating, or at least just wanting, it's a wish list, it be a creature boat ride in tribute to Jaws, in the Jaws ride. Have another boat ride that's an upgrade to that Jaws ride.
When all these rumors before they were real, I was like between Mario and Zelda, like obviously Zelda because you can do more. Like Mario, you just look at the stuff. I don't know really.
See,
I
if
mean,
they
you
were
have
to do
firsthand.
Zelda at Epic, it's only going to be a small little space. But Lost Continent's huge. Like, they should do it over there. Like, they could do so
Yeah, and
much
keep
with
Luigi's Mansion next to the Mario Land because it just matches better.
it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then there is a gigantic plot of land that is pretty certain that it's going to be the 5th portal at some point.
Worst case scenario, I mean, maybe not worst case, but let's just say one of these lands, you know, the money goes away. They got to replace that with, I guess, another property. I guess that's doable.
They won't be replacing these lands for a long time, if ever.
Yeah, I'm just big picture. I'm looking at these as if they're like interchangeable. You know, I mean, it's a base world with like nugget worlds or whatever. What do you call it? Like
Yeah.
kernel worlds.
Yeah.
So like they kind of arguably are interchangeable, or you can add or subtract whatever worlds. I mean, as big as a world is, and it's like a huge undertaking.
But these are so specific. It's not like lands at the other parks. There's no way to retheme these. Like, they're so way too detailed. They would have to tear down everything, like just demolish it and build something else, if that was an option in the future, in the very distant future.
Yeah, knock on wood.
Yeah, that's why I don't believe it's ever going to happen, and if it does, it's going to be very, very long time. And also I think there is a little expansion plot for dragons, but not confident on that. But there is an expansion plot for Harry Potter as well. Originally, when Harry Potter was planned in 2019, in the permits, there was a second ride on that for that land in the permits. However, after COVID happened, I think they had to kind of scrap that temporarily, and the park or that land opened with only one ride. But there is a huge plot that is there for phase 2 whenever they're ready to build that second ride.
So you're telling me there's a chance, Zelda?
It's a pretty certain it's happening at some point somewhere. So,
dude, I want to shoot harpoons and swing around off the walls in the buildings.
Here's more confirmation for you. In Celestial Park, there's a Nintendo store right outside the portal, so you don't actually have to go into the stores in there, into the actual world. You can.
Do they each got a gift shop there?
No,
on the inside?
No,
on the
just
outside?
Nintendo got lucky. They got their own little gift shop outside the portal, right?
All right.
When you first walk in there, you look up, and there's a bunch of stained glass of a bunch of Nintendo characters. Princess Zelda and Link are in those windows. On the floor, in the tiles, Zelda's sword is there, and shield. They're not really selling any Zelda merch currently. Why would those be there if they weren't going to have Zelda in the future?
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, stained glass is big with Zelda, so you'd be wrong to not include them. Put them in the glass.
All right, man. Well, we have been on here for quite some time. This could be quite a long episode, so let's go ahead and end it right here. If you guys are still listening, thank you so much. I hope this was sort of entertaining and sort of helpful. It's very hard. I guess I'm a terrible podcaster, but it's very hard to describe Epic Universe because it truly is unreal, and it truly is epic because it's very indescribable how amazing it is. So I'm sorry if I wasn't good at describing it. It's just you just have to see it for yourself.
Hey, it's better than the person that didn't go and didn't describe it, or the person that went and also didn't describe it. You described it.
There you
You
go.
know?
But thanks for sticking with us. Really appreciate it. Like we said, there is going to be some more episodes coming very soon because there's announcements coming back to back. They're going to be coming rapid fire here pretty soon. So be on the lookout for more episodes. We'll be covering them all.
Anyway, yeah, y'all be excellent to each other. Stick around.
Please follow us on all our social medias. We are on Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, and Threads at HHN Obsession. And please, please, please give us a 5-star review if you would be so kind on Spotify and on Apple Podcast or anywhere where you listen to the podcast. It really helps us out, helps us with all the algorithms whenever people search HHN Podcast.
Yeah, leave your words, leave your reviews.
Yes, please, and leave us some comments. Leave us your thoughts on some of these announcements, some of the specs, or on Epic Universe. So we'd love to hear them. Thanks, everybody, and
Hey, be epic to each other.
You're damn right. Just wait a while, giving you the hit with your face now. Wait a while, giving you the hit with your face now. Wait a while, giving you the hit with your face now. Wait a while, giving you the hit with your face now. Wait a while.
Hey everyone, just wanted to give a quick shout out to my good friend Zach Weber, who provided our intro and outro song, Heebie Jeebies. You can listen to the full version of Heebie Jeebies on iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, or anywhere where you listen to your favorite music. Thanks for listening.